In the previous video, we covered a few of the man-made wonders of the globe, which are likely something that the majority of you have thought about or amazed by. However, before we start the video for part 2, make sure that you have subscribed to our channel. Hello and welcome to Luxury Premier, the ultimate destination for dreamers pursuing insight. And if you're here with us, it's not a coincidence that you are watching this video. Here in Luxury Premier, we only want what is best for you. May our videos inspire you and hope that all of your dreams may come true. Now let's start the man-made travel wonders of the world in 2022, Part 2. Buckingham Palace. London visitors must see Buckingham Palace. Maybe you're a royal family enthusiast or just want to see a cultural landmark. Regardless, you'll adore its opulent interior. The palace's history is rich, British without one. Here are some interesting Buckingham Palace facts. King George IV commissioned Buckingham Palace, but it has a longer history. The site was part of Ebury Manor in the Middle Ages. Neither have we. Henry VIII built on the site in the 16th century. King George IV never lived in his completed palace. Queen Victoria moved in 1837. The palace became the royal residence then. Many kings have since died. Queen Elizabeth still lives there. Why settle, Your Majesty? As a working royal palace, Buckingham Palace isn't constantly open to the public. They only open when Queen Elizabeth visits Scotland in August and September. You won't see the Queen during your visit. The royal collection includes paintings, sculptures, and tapestries. The palace only displays a small portion of the massive riches. There are still Rembrandts and Rubens on show. Unmissable is the huge picture of Queen Victoria's coronation. Some startling Buckingham Palace facts must be included. The throne room and expansive grounds are just the beginning. Cinema, pool, post office, police station, clinic, and cash machine. Buckingham Palace is a luxurious village. Prepare to feel more patriotic, Brits. London was badly attacked during World War II. As a cultural landmark, Buckingham Palace became a target. Sydney Opera House. Bennelong Point is home to the Sydney Opera House. Woollaraware Bennelong, a senior Eora man at the time of the arrival of British colonists in Australia in 1788, was called after Bennelong Point. The Sydney Opera House was highly estimated to cost $7 million to construct. The total cost was $102 million, with the majority of the funds coming from a state lottery. The project was estimated to take 4 years to complete, while it took 14 years. The construction began in 1959 and employed 10,000 people. The first person to perform at the Sydney Opera House was Paul Robeson. In 1960, as the construction workers were eating lunch, he climbed the scaffolding and sang All Man River to them. In 2007, the Sydney Opera House was inscribed on the UNESCO World Heritage List. More than 1 million roof tiles span approximately 1.2 hectares of space above the construction. They are manufactured in Sweden. On the site, 7 A380s may be parked wing to wing. On October 20, 1973, Queen Elizabeth II officially opened the Sydney Opera House. She has returned 4 times since then, the most recent in 2006. To keep the instruments in tune while the Sydney Symphony Orchestra performs in the concert hall, the temperature must be kept at 22.5 degrees. Musical instruments are sensitive to temperature and humidity. In the concert hall, Arnold Schwarzenegger won his final Mr. Olympia bodybuilding title in 1980. Following an incident during the opera Boris Godunov, a net was placed above the orchestra pit in the Joan Sutherland Theatre in 1980s. A live chicken walked off the stage and landed on top of a cellist during the opera. Every year, around 10.9 million people visit the Opera House. Seawater from Sydney Harbour is used to cool the Sydney Opera House. Cold water from the port is circulated through 35 kilometers of pipes to power the building's heating and air conditioning. The Opera House celebrates Lunar New Year every year with red sails, lunar lanterns, and Mandarin tours. Approximately 25,000 people joined in 2019 to celebrate. The Parthenon. Parthenon, the Athens Acropolis temple. It was built in 500 BCE and is dedicated to Athena Parthenos. The temple is considered the climax of the Doric order, the simplest classical Greek architectural order. Pericles rebuilt the Parthenon after the Greco-Persian Wars and sacked the Acropolis. The project was to feature the Propylaea, the doorway to the Holy Precinct, the Erythium, a temple to agricultural deities, especially Erycthonius, and the Temple of Athena Nike, an architectural symbol of Dorian and Ionian harmony under Athens' rule. The Parthenon was to be Athena's principal shrine and the treasury of the Delian League, formed by Athens in 478 BCE. Pericles allegedly used League surplus cash to pay for new structures. Ictinus, Callicrates, and Phidias building the Parthenon in 447 BCE. In 438, Phidias dedicated an interior gold and ivory figure of Athena. Exterior decoration lasted until 432 BCE. Although the white marble Parthenon has sustained damage throughout the centuries, its core structure remains, a colonnade of fluted baseless columns with square capital stands on a three-stepped base and supports an entablature or roof structure consisting of a plain architrave, a frieze of alternating triglyphs and metopes, and a low triangular pediment, also with relief sculpture. The colonnade encloses a walled interior rectangular chamber or cella, originally split into three aisle by two smaller Doric colonnades closed at the west end right below the large cult statue. The only light came through the east doorway or the roof and ceiling's marble tiles. A smaller square chamber entered from the west behind the cella. Each end of the building's interior has a 6-column portico. The building is 101.34 feet broad and 228.14 feet long. The White House. The White House has represented the presidency, the government, and the American people for 200 years. President George Washington signed an act of Congress in 1790 announcing that the federal government would live in an area not exceeding 10 miles square on the Potomac. President Washington and city planner Pierre L'Enfant chose 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. As the new federal city was planned, a competition was held to create the President's House. Irish-born architect James Hoban's efficient and attractive design earned gold. Presidents can display their distinct style in how they decorate and receive guests. Thomas Jefferson's 1805 open house was the first. Many who attended his inauguration at the Capitol followed him home to the Blue Room. Since Jefferson opened the mansion for public tours, it has remained open, save during warfare. He hosted New Year's and 4th of July celebrations. In 1829, 20,000 inaugural callers forced President Andrew Jackson to escape to a hotel as aides filled washtubs with orange juice and alcohol to lure the mob out of the White House. After Lincoln's administration, inaugural crowds grew too enormous for the White House. This risky practice changed during Grover Cleveland's presidency. From a flag-draped grandstand in front of the White House, he reviewed the troops. This procession became today's inaugural parade. New Year's and 4th of July receptions persisted until the 1930s. Golden Gate Bridge. The Golden Gate Bridge is a suspension bridge in California that connects San Francisco to Marin County to the north. It was the world's highest, longest suspension bridge when it was completed in 1937. The Golden Gate Bridge became known as a symbol of American power and progress, and it is established the standard for suspension bridge design around the world. Although other bridges have subsequently exceeded in size, it is said to be the most photographed bridge in the world because of the beauty of its environment. It includes a pedestrian walkway and carries both U.S. Route 101 and California State Route 1 across the strait. The bridge's orange-vermilion tint, chosen by consulting architect Irving Morrow, has a dual purpose. It blends in with the natural surroundings while also making the bridge visible to ships in fog. The bridge is floodlit at night and glows with a golden radiance that reflects off the bay's waters, creating a magnificent effect effect. Its construction, overseen by head engineer Joseph B. Strauss, began in January 1933 and was fraught with difficulties. Construction was difficult due to the strait's fast-moving tides, severe storms, and fogs. On August 14, 1933, a cargo vessel collided with the access trestle during one of these fogs, causing major damage. Workers also had to deal with blasting rock beneath deep water in order to lay earthquake-resistant foundations. During construction, a movable safety net invented by Strauss saved 19 men from plummeting to their deaths. The safety net, however, lost way under the weight of a scaffolding collapse on February 17, 1937. Of the 13 men on the scaffolding, 1 leaped clear, 2 survived the fall into the lake, and 10 were murdered. Another worker died during the construction, bringing the total number of worker deaths to 11 in 4 years. The bridge opened to automobile traffic on May 28, 1937, ahead of schedule and under budget. The 1,280-meter main span is suspended from 2 cables draped from 227-meter high towers. The roadway is 81 meters above mean high water at its halfway. It possessed the world's longest main span until the Verrazano Narrows Bridge in New York City was completed in 1964. Check out the other man-made wonders in our Part 3 video. Today, we hope you learned something new that you will remember for the rest of your life. We'd like to thank everyone who has stayed with us this far. Despite the fact that we have never met, please know that we respect and admire you for choosing to be here today. Thank you for taking the time to speak with us, dreamers. Make sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on any future videos.